You are a fever I am learning to live with. Tell me how all of this and love too will ruin us. There are some books that feel dead in your hands. And then there is Crush. This is Richard Siken's first collection of poetry, and it is, I don't know, I feel like I could make a whole YouTube channel about this book in itself. I mean, it is feverish, it is violent, it's dramatic, obsessive, erotic. It is so painfully alive that when you're reading, you forget that you're reading, and there are moments in the poems that remind you that you are not reliving such specific moments of your own life. Someone is always running, bleeding, falling in love, driving too fast. Someone is always begging for more, saying please, and everyone is in love, or dying, or both. I have read this book more times than I can count, revisiting each individual poem. Some of them I could tell you I've probably read over 100 times. And this summer, I feel like I just cannot escape this book. I recently just bought the 20th anniversary edition, so now I have a clean copy. I carry it in my bag. I leave it on my coffee table, so when people come over, I just hope that they get curious enough to flip through it and find something that speaks to them. I leave it beside my bed at night. It moves me to tears over and over. I read it alone. I read it to the people I love. It just feels like lately everything in my life I'm able to find on one of those pages. I see it, I feel it, and it really just puts on display this particular terror of being happy when you almost know better than to let life trick you into finding such peace and joy, and how temporary all the goodness is, but also how temporary all the pain is. I don't know, it showcases the obsessive carnal behaviors that we exhibit when we're in love. So I have deemed summer 2026 my Richard Siken summer because I can't unsee this book in any aspect of my life. Crush was published in 2005. It was Richard Siken's first body of work. It was selected by Louise Gluck for the Yale series of younger poets. And there's a really great foreword in the book that talks about the discovery of his poems and his submission to Yale for this collection. The way that they describe their discovery of the poems after sifting through hundreds and hundreds of poets' work to stumble upon this piece is finding a needle in a haystack. I mean, they describe the feeling of just, wow, this is it. Like, this is going to be one of the greatest poetry books ever. And they were not wrong. And although the book is over 20 years old at this point, it doesn't feel that way. And quite frankly, it hardly even feels like a book in the first place. As the reader, you are so tormented and also wrapped up in the words that you, like I said, you just don't even remember you're reading. It is so entrancing. It feels like you're reliving moments of your life. And it feels like a car crash that you just keep driving past because you want to see more. You slow down to look. You tell yourself not to look. You look anyway. There are men everywhere, men chasing men, wanting men, hurting men, men in cars, men in bedrooms, in dreams, against walls. And beneath all of it is this frantic, almost humiliating desperation to be wanted back, to have someone else see you as you are seeing them, as you are viewing their car crash. I want you so much. I want to be you. I know this feeling. I think many of us know this feeling, and that's kind of embarrassing to admit sometimes, to want someone just like past the point of reason, past sex, past love, past sitting alone with them in a room, to want to crawl inside of the machinery of them, to study their hands and their childhood and the way their face changes when you walk into the room and see them, to know what this person looked and sounded like before you, to wish impossibly that you had been there. The fact that another human being can become important enough in your life to rearrange your internal mapping. They know things about you that they can't unknow. And that's a really intense thing that many of us experience, but we don't acknowledge how unbelievably intense that is to be known in our desires, in our strangest moments. I think what I love most about Crush is that it refuses entirely to make the desire of others respectable and easy to digest. It is carnal, it is possessive, it is humiliating, quite frankly. I also think that there's a huge talking point surrounding queerness when it comes to this piece, because he had written it surrounding a lot of his experiences being a young queer person in a time where queerness was so much less accepted and understood as it is today. And still, that's not to say we don't have a long way to go, because we certainly do, which all the more reason why reading queer literature and understanding queer culture and history is more important than it has been in so long. And Siken just lets queer desire be so unbelievably honest and real. And I love him for that, because I find that queerness is very often tokenized in media and just in culture. Like, oh, we got to add this in because it's the right thing to do, makes us look good as a company. And queer desire in media and writing, it's often expected to defend itself, defend its existence, to prove that it is healthy and beautiful and ideal and wholesome and worthy of the audience tolerating it. But you guessed it, Crush does not care about any of that. The characters, quote unquote characters, are allowed to want badly, humiliatingly. They're allowed to make mistakes and beg and feel hurt and disheveled. They're allowed to be ruined by the choices of each other. And they're just allowed to be human, like straight people can do in media all the time. Lately, I find myself questioning why this particular language around queerness feels so calling to me. And I wish I had some grandiose revelation to offer here in regards to this. I don't have a neat sentence about who I am, how I identify, my sexuality. I only know that there are love languages I know that feel right for me, and experiences I have learned to be true about myself in my definition of love that would have been called wrong in the community and household that I grew up in. It's so weird being in that place of so much societal rejection and familial rejection when you know that what you're experiencing just feels so natural and so normal and just feels like it feels like the right thing. Nothing in life has ever made me feel more alive than queerness. For me, queerness has less to do with arriving at this concrete answer and more to do with finally realizing that I don't have to ask permission. I can feel queerness and desire in a way that suits me, even if that is messy or others don't see or accept me for who I am and how I identify. And I really see a lot of that experience in this book that feels really reassuring in a world that is filled with so much hatred and homophobia and threatening queer people with eternal damnation because they are just experiencing life the way that they know is right for them. And so reading this has really allowed me to have space to not feel so attached to figuring out queerness in myself, but more so just seeing like the normal experiences of being a person in love, and it just so happens to be gay. And it actually kind of carries over with another piece of media that I have been obsessed with recently, which is Greg Araki's 1997 movie, Nowhere. And it just feels like Crush as a movie. I recently watched this movie for the first time after my partner recommended it. Everyone is beautiful and everyone is miserable. Everyone wants someone who wants someone else. People fall in love, people die, people disappear. In this film, the world might be literally ending, and somehow everyone still has time for desire and love. I love how it's unserious and absolutely devastating at the same time. Like, you will see the worst thing you've seen, and then it just cuts to like a party. You know what I mean? It's very Skins, like UK Skins energy, and it also has very queer elements in it. I would honestly classify it as a queer film, and I like that the queerness in it is not presented as a problem to solve or a lesson to learn. Like, it is not the main focus of the film at all. Some people might even miss how big of a theme it is in this movie. I like that nobody in the film seems particularly interested in explaining themselves. Like, you don't get a full rundown of answers. You don't see how every single story finishes. And beneath all of this like color and absurdity and substance use and love and sex, there is this terrible, terrible lingering loneliness and this fear that like no one will ever want you in the same way that you want them or in the way that you want to be wanted. And that feels very, very Richard Siken Crush to me. Nowhere and Crush just seem to exist in the same like emotional universe to me. Everyone needs a place. It should not be inside of someone else. I hate this line because I know it's true, and because I have spent many, many, many years of my life trying to build homes inside of other people. There is something frightening about loving someone after you have learned that people can disappear. And I don't mean leave, I mean disappear, like die. Personal experience here, losing a partner. If it's your first time here in 2022, my ex-partner at the time died by suicide. One moment there's a body, there's a voice, there's a person who takes showers and goes to work and eats breakfast and gets tired, and then there isn't anymore. And the world does the most unforgivable thing. It continues. Someone is buying groceries, someone is ordering coffee, someone is getting in a fight with their spouse over something so small. The trees are still green. The person you love can be dead, and it can still be a sunny, warm day outside. And I think I struggle to forgive the world for that. I don't think I want to forgive the world for that. And that is why I think Crush feels so familiar. Love is never just love once you know absence and loss. You start looking at people around you and you start to see the ghost of their eventual absence. You memorize it without meaning to. You start to collect evidence that they are real. You want to remember that they existed. I do this all the time with my current partner. I just stare at him sometimes because I'm afraid that one day he's just not going to be here anymore, and I will wish that I spent more time memorizing him. We are shooting the scene where I swallow your heart and you make me spit it up again. I love this line. Understanding the words in this entire body of work helps you become painfully aware of the stakes of everything in life. You look at the person sleeping beside you and you understand that they, like you, are mortal. You look at the trees right now, they are impossibly bright green, full of life, and then you realize what they will look like by the end of November. And still, you touch. Still, you want. Still, you enjoy a summer day. You drive too fast with the windows down, the music loud. You let someone know things about you that they can never unknow. It's clear that this is the true carnal violence of love. We know love can so easily destroy us and be lost, and we choose it anyway. Tell me we will never get used to it. I don't think I ever want to. Thanks for listening, and I will see you in my next video. Go pick up a copy of Crush, lose yourself in it, and in the comments, if you have read it, let me know which poem is your favorite. Okay, with love always. See you next time.